Hello and welcome for this 2-for-1 viewer special. Today I have been requested to review the Spyro Game Boy Advance games, Spyro Season of Ice and Spyro 2 Season of Fire, or as I have it, the Spyro Super Pack. To me, Spyro belongs on a portable system, whether it's replaying the originals on my PSP or Vita, or the remasters on my Nintendo Switch. The gameplay of Spyro is just perfect for the portable form factor, so you'd think I'd be really nostalgic for the very first portable Spyro games, especially since I've had both of these games on Game Boy Advance since I had the system when it was new. But you'd be wrong, and today I want to revisit these games to understand why. While on paper, the Game Boy Advance is capable of rendering 3D environments and can even have 3D platformers on the hardware, this wasn't going to be happening right after the Game Boy Advance came out in 2001. So developer Digital Eclipse did what any good developers do. They turned Spyro into an isometric 2D platformer with pre-rendered sprites. On the surface, they did an excellent job. Spyro of Ice looks like a Spyro game, plays like a Spyro game, and at times even sounds like a Spyro game. I would almost say that it is a Spyro game. Almost. You see, the game gets close, but I feel Digital Eclipse was too focused on making Spyro work on underpowered hardware, which results in the gameplay turning into just a repetitive mess. The main objective for each and every level is to kill all Rhinox, which is, admittedly, pretty metal, but it gets old quickly. When you do, you'll be teleported to the end of the stage, collect your theory, and move on to the next. Though, like any other Spyro game, you will need more collectibles to actually make progress, but these two are just a repetitive slog that I found extremely annoying. Like, go around the stage to light all the objectives and maybe find the occasional thief and catch it, if you can, and maybe achieve a local request. It really is easy on paper, but until you actually nosedive off the stage and just have to restart everything again, you'll find just how tedious this can be. Season of Ice demands to have a better checkpoint system scattered throughout the stage, or even just the ability to record your progress if you take a nosedive off of these narrow platforms. And the repetitive nature is also reflected in the enemies and the aesthetics. There will only ever be 2 enemies throughout the entire game, and they are repeated in several worlds. Big, small, and their attack patterns will start repeating after about 2 worlds, I'd say. Oh, and with no map and a repeating sprite texture just absolutely plastered everywhere in this game, get ready to go back and forth between repetitive areas over and over and over again, just trying to complete the many side objectives and trying to find that one last item that you didn't collect in order to go and unlock a fairy. A lot of this would be forgivable if the music too was not reused so frequently. And I don't think that's inherently bad if it wasn't for the fact that the music is the most generic GBA chiptunes that I have heard on the system. I really want to like Spyro Season of Ice, especially since the gameplay feels so close to the PS1 originals, but considering just how unpolished the experience was, I just couldn't bring myself to play more of the game than what I did. Which is why the metaphorical apology letter that was Season of Fire isn't so bad. Look, if you are going to play any of these games, Season of Fire is going to be that game. Not only is the game bearable to play, especially with the more dynamic camera, but the levels have stories that I can actually follow. They aren't always good, but I can at least remember them. At this point in the process, I'm kind of getting sick of Rhinox being the baddies at this point, but the variety here is way better. And you even get boss fights, which are a fun challenge too. But honestly, what makes Season of Fire feel like a Spyro game is that the level objectives are just so much better. The same is true with the level design too, even if it's still quite blocky. You even have a map in this game, which makes the repetitive environments easier to navigate. While the returning T-posing animal friends give the gameplay a much needed spice and gameplay variety. It's a night and day difference of just how much better Season of Fire is to Season of Ice. While Spyro Season of Ice made it look like you were playing a Spyro game, Spyro Season of Fire made it feel like you were playing a watered down Spyro game. However, no matter how much work I feel Digital Eclipse could have put into Season of Fire, I do feel that it was always going to be doomed to pale in the comparison with the original games. But anyways, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a good day, and as always, take care.